Hi. So you've probably found me on YouTube and you've probably gone in the YouTube and gone, how to deal with rejection. And right now you're probably feeling a lot of pain. You're probably in your head a lot. Um, you may have, like in the pit of your stomach, like just horrible, horrible, horrible feeling because you've been rejected. And I'm going to be specifically talking to you about the rejection of when you've played the piano, sung in public, song written, and had your song rejected, kind of anything to do with music, but you can relate this to kind of anything. And so I'm really talking to those of you that have got ADHD, who you're highly sensitive, maybe, and it's excruciating. It's absolutely excruciating to feel that rejection. So in today's video, I wanted to talk to you about how I have dealt with rejection over the past. As someone who is highly sensitive, I feel rejection so deeply. It's like a physical pain. You feel sick, you can't think, you can't sleep. It consumes you for days on end. So I thought it'd be really helpful to just share with you some things that I have learned about how to deal with rejection in the next kind of 15 minutes. And also to say that it's really important that we get rejected. I'll explain a little bit more in a bit more later. But what I want to say is we have to think about the dream, and there's a reason why you're performing. There's a reason why you're learning to play the piano and to sing. And sometimes the rejection feels like we're going to give up. I'm going to give up. I don't want to be rejected anymore. But we have to go back to that dream. Yeah. And my belief is that God wouldn't put a dream into you unless you could fulfill that dream. Yeah. Your purpose. I'm going to call it purpose, that kind of calling. But I see so many of my students, they don't step out their comfort zones because of this fear of rejection. Yeah. But you have a dream. And I think it's really important to help you overcome this fear of rejection so that you can step out into your light. And most importantly, so that you can start to share your music and inspire people with it. Okay. And I'm going to be talking about attract and repel, because one of the things that I realized is that the more you kind of get people repelling to your music, actually the more people are attracted to your music. So your music starts to, instead of becoming like Blair, it starts to become interesting. And some people might not like that. Yeah. And that's really cool. So I want you to celebrate when people don't like your music and they're actually telling you they don't like your music. That's brilliant, because it means that people are equally loving your music. Yeah. So that's one of the things to think about. I've got some notes here. Maybe you've been rejected because people have ignored you. You've been an open mic night and people have just been talking all over your music, and you've made it mean that you're not good enough, or that it's not good enough. Maybe you didn't get the part in an audition. I've had that so many times where I thought I've got the audition, like I felt like I've had it. And then you've got the phone call to say, I'm really sorry. Or you might not even get a call at all and you're waiting and waiting. Maybe you just have a feeling, like sometimes I've done a gig and I've come off stage and just felt shame, absolute shame. Like, I'm the worst singer, piano player there is in the world. Why would anyone want to book me? Kind of those feelings. But maybe someone has just told you, like, they don't like you. Like, that's even worse. That's horrible, right? So maybe that's that. And you've got two options, okay? When you're in this space and you're on the floor, you're on your knees, you're crying, you're upset, you've got two options. The first option is to give up and go, this is not for me, okay? Or the second option is that you can lean into it and kind of get curious about how you feel, the whole rejection, what you can learn from it, and so forth. So before I continue, I just want to see if there's anybody in the chat. Let me just quickly do this now. Da, 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 da. So if there's any questions, let me know and we can communicate in the chat. That's fine. Actually, I'm just going to turn my volume down so I can keep playing it. Yeah, so the first one is, I want you to just take a breath. Just sit with me right now, especially if you're upset. and just take a moment, and we're just going to breathe in and we're going to breathe out, and we're really just going to feel our physicalness of our body and kind of just acknowledge where our feelings are. So take a breath with me now, breathing in and out, and breathing in and out. And the idea of taking those breaths is to just calm yourself, calm that nervous system, calm this fight and flight that's kind of in your head, and you're like, you know, you've got voices racing around, all the negative talk. Okay, so by just taking those breaths, is you're just calming yourself, you're calming the chitter chatter from in your head. Okay. And now what I want you to do is I just want you to notice where the fear is in your body. Most of the time it's in your stomach, but just really notice where the emotion is. So just take another breath in and breath out, and in and out. And you're starting to connect with yourself. Can you start to feel that you're calming your nervous system down, you're calming your heart down? And when you start to calm yourself down, you can start to think rationally. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, I want you to ask yourself, how long have you been playing the piano, singing, songwriting for, or how long have you practiced? Because I often see this with students, is they don't feel good enough, they've been rejected, but actually they're brand new at an instrument and they've not actually given themselves a chance to get good. Okay, so that's the first thing, is we want to acknowledge how competent we are on our instrument, how long we've been practicing. And that's really important, okay, because, for example, you want to be taking in those small wins. Okay, so if you're comparing yourself to people that have been playing the piano for a very, very long time, and the feedback that you're getting, maybe you've gone to an audition to be a professional piano vocalist and you've not been playing very long and you get rejected, well, maybe you just don't have the technical competency yet. And then in which case you can do something about that. Yeah. So be really honest with yourself and go, how long have I actually been honing my skill as a piano player, as a vocalist, and as a songwriter? So that's the first thing. The second thing I want you to think about is this true? Is this true? So remember I spoke to you initially about maybe you felt like you were being ignored at a gig, or maybe you've just come off stage and you've looked at the audience and assumed that they've not enjoyed your performance. Yeah. So with that breath, just take a couple of breaths in, and I want you to ask yourself the question, is this true? Or is this what you've made it mean in your head? Okay. So often what we do is we make things mean things. You know, that man across the room, he was on his phone, that means that I wasn't very good. Or that lady was kind of shouting and I thought she was shouting at me. Maybe it wasn't true. All these different things we make mean. So let's take a deep breath and just take a breath in and out. And I want you to just think about what the truth is. Okay. If someone has said to you, you're not good enough, think about that and go, is that true? Is that true? Or is that their belief being put onto you? Yeah. So take a deep breath now, just breathing in and out. Is it true? And I want you to be really aware of the negative thoughts that are in your head, because you will have had some negative thoughts from a child, from you being a teenager, and they kind of pile upon each other. Yeah. Is it true? Okay. Most of the time, it won't be true. Okay. Most of the time, we assume that we're not good enough, but it isn't true. However, let's take, for example, it is true. Maybe you are not good enough. Maybe you didn't get the audition. Maybe someone said to you, you're not good enough. Okay, well, let's go back to the audition part. There could have been a multiple of reasons why you didn't get the audition. It might not be to do with your talent. It might be to do with your availability. It might be to do with your personality. It might be to do with the way you look, your age. It could be a multitude of things. It could be the fact that they just didn't like your tonal quality of your voice. It didn't suit the part. It could be that you're too soft a personality and they wanted someone a bit angrier. Or it could be that there was someone just better than you. And that's equally okay. That's okay that someone else was better than you. Because actually, if someone that got the part is better than you, that's fair. You know, it's not very nice when someone who isn't as good as you gets the part, okay? But then even then, the question is, well, why did they get the part and you didn't? And there could be a variety of reasons. It could be they know the producer, they know the director, they're best friends with someone in the cast. They can see the potential in that person. They suited the part more. There are so many variables, yeah? And you can't change those variables. The only thing that you can do is take control of yourself. Okay, and there's actually an amazing documentary on Netflix that Taylor Swift did, and she, for her album, she didn't get like best album of the year. And you know what she said? She had an incredible growth mindset. So she was disappointed, obviously, but she just turned around and she said, it's not a good enough album. I've got to make a better album. And that was it. Crystal clear. She didn't allow herself to kind of go into that space of, I'm not good enough and I'm the victim and poor me, which of course you need that one day of like eating ice cream and doing that. I'm not saying don't do that. But she literally, it was very logical. It's like, I need a better album. So maybe you just need to get better. Maybe you need to go to singing lessons. Maybe you need to go to piano lessons. Maybe you need to rehearse more. Maybe you need to relook at your audition material. Or maybe you need to just spend more time practicing. Yeah? So there is that as well. And if you can take ownership of this rejection and take your responsibility, what's going to happen is you're going to improve so much more than if you just sit there and just go, I'm crap. Like, yeah. So it's an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to get better. Yeah. And one of the things I always say to my students as well is like, the more you come out your comfort zone, the more possibly that you are rejected, the more that you learn from your mistakes and you get better and you get better. Okay. Now, I've spoken a little bit about attract and repel. Another thing it could be is attracting and repelling. And so what I mean by this is maybe your song is perfect for a certain genre. And I'm thinking of, I've just discovered this incredible singer-songwriter called Ren, a guitar player. And his music is really quite dark. And he sings about mental health, rapping. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I haven't listened to an artist like that in such a long time where I love it. Now, I know if I played that to someone like my mum, or I played that to someone of a different generation, or someone who didn't feel comfortable with people talking about mental health, and who just didn't really want to go there, they wouldn't like it. And they would say so, and they would go, oh, I don't like that. It's a bit crap, isn't it? Or it's a bit this, or it's a bit that. Yeah. I think he's phenomenal. And so when you are sharing your music with people, just be aware of who your audience is. You know, is your audience your best friend? Probably not. Is your audience your mum and dad? Probably not. You know, you want to find those people that really like that genre of music. Okay. So please, please, please do not share your music with your friends and your family unless they are fans of that genre of music. Because it's like someone saying to me, listen to my opera. Okay. And I'm listening to this opera and I'm like, well, it sounds beautiful. It's classical. Yeah. I'm not into opera. Like, yeah, it's okay. Doesn't really interest me though, right? So just be careful about who you are asking for. And then finally, one of the things is that do not let other people's opinions of you judge your self-worth. That's really important. Okay, you are unique just the way you are. Just the way you are. And some people will love that and some people will not like that. And that's okay. And just let them go and they'll find the artist that they like. And then the people that like you will come into your world. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't always be having a growth mindset and improving. Of course, you need to be doing that. But sometimes we need to find a little bit of peace in the storm. Okay, so think about that. And then a few coping strategies for dealing with the rejection. And that is community. Community is everything. So if you surround yourself with other like-minded piano vocal songwriters or whatever genre you're in, and you surround yourself with people that are constantly being knocked over by record labels or by friends and family or by gigs, and you see their lows, but you also see their highs. That's really important. You see their highs and their lows. Then when it happens to you, it normalizes it a little bit, and it kind of makes you go, oh yeah, that's part of the journey, right? It's part of the journey. It's like, you know, if you were to climb Mount Everest or a mountain, you're not going to climb it without getting burns on your feet and aches and pains and snow bite, or I don't know what's it called when you lose your fingers and toes. You know that's part of the journey. And being rejected when you're sharing your music is part of the journey. Every single artist that I know has been rejected at some form or of another. But it's the artists that succeed are the ones that go, oh, okay, you reject me. Why? Ask the question. Why? Is it going back to, is it my belief I'm being rejected? Is it true? And then really listen carefully to why you've been rejected. Is it something I can improve on? Maybe I need to get better, or maybe they're the completely wrong audience for my music. Yeah. So it's a growing opportunity. And then finally, this is something that I got from Mel Robbins, which I love. And that is, if you're having a crappy day, a seriously crappy day right now, you're listening to this and you're probably like me when I have those crappy days, I'm on YouTube kind of going, help me, help me, help me. When you're feeling sad, deflated, wanting to give up, today, just park it. It's a crappy day. You can't do much about today. But what I want you to do is to book something for tomorrow, something nice for yourself. Yeah, something nice to pick you up. Have one day of indulgence of like, I feel sorry for myself, but then tomorrow do something nice for yourself. I know, take yourself shopping, or go for a walk with a friend, or go for a coffee, or do some yoga, or just take an hour out of your busy day for you, like listening to music or play the piano and singing. You know, just do something nice for yourself tomorrow, not today, tomorrow. And then you'll wake up tomorrow, you'll have something to look forward to, and it will boost you up. But I would really encourage you to journal your feelings about rejection. And I really want to try and get you to like take that negative side of rejection, if possible, and flip it on its head and see it as an opportunity to learn, see it as an opportunity to grow, see it as a sign that you are on the right road, my friend. You are on the right road. You are coming out of your comfort zone. You are sharing your music with the world. Yeah? And that's a beautiful thing. And I want to acknowledge you just for doing that, because a lot of people don't even do that. Yeah? So listen, sending you so much love. If you've enjoyed this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you next week for another live. All right, you take care.